guests. We even have 2 guests. Welcome. Welcome to our meeting. I'm Magdalena. I'm the president of the club. I'm normally the president chairs the meeting. Just for you to know, we rotate the presidency every year. And every time we meet, we have a very challenging agenda ahead, but we always manage it, and it's always different and very rewarding. I would like to ask those who brought the guests to introduce them. I guess you, Claire.
I'm responsible only for one.
Oh, okay.
So it's my pleasure to introduce Jussi. Jussi used to be a colleague in Bangkok when I first joined the UN, and now he's a little bit sort of closer geographically, but more distant because he actually works for UNIDO, whereas I work for UNIDO. So Jussi, if you'd like to say a couple of words to introduce yourself.
Good afternoon. I am very glad to be back in Toastmasters. I was introduced to Toastmasters about 10 years ago while I was working in Nigeria. But after a few sessions, the club somehow got closed. Because of that, I couldn't continue, and I had to wait almost 10 years to rejoin. So I am very glad to be back here, and I work with UNIDO, yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Welcome. So a very brief introduction. Jussi, this club has already almost 29 years of existence. So we hope it's not going to close, and we are not foreseeing that. So if you are here at the VIC, you're welcome to visit us up to 3 times. If you still continue after that, this is something interesting for you, you can join the club, and we would be glad to have you as a guest.
Thank you.
So I hope you enjoy the meeting, and at the end of the meeting, we'll ask you just very briefly to say whether this was something interesting for you, what you thought. And I see there is another lady, it's also a guest. Yes, so you want to introduce yourself, unless the person that brought you to the club is here.
Well, I brought myself.
Good, welcome.
I'm Krista Wenzel. I work at the IAEA, and I've been here for 1.5 years, and I've been looking at the club since then. This is the first Tuesday that I've been here and been able to come. I also work at Cyberstorf. The IAEA has a location out in the country about 45 kilometers from here, and on Tuesdays I'm often there. It so happens that my schedule is opening up that I can be here more on Tuesdays. So I'll do my best to attend. I already know that I want to join again. And I say again, because I can beat you by a few years. 22 years ago, I was in Toastmasters and became a competent Toastmaster. And 3 or 4 years ago, I joined another club in Wyoming in the United States. And I fell away from that club and then moved here. So hopefully this is my 3rd start, and I'll be able to attend as much as I can while I'm here. I very much look forward to it.
So really, thank you. Just for you to know, we meet always on the 2nd and on the 4th Tuesday of every month. And we have a website that when you get involved, we will show you. It's called Easy Speak, where we can sign up, say whether we are coming or not, whether we have time or not to attend, and where we can also sign up for voice. This will come later. So we have another guest. Suresh is already
regular guest.
A regular guest. Very well said.
My name is Suresh Male. I am part of CSC Chennai Toastmaster Club in India. I am here for 6 weeks visits to UNIDO as part of my project work. So just wanted to make the best use of my time here. So I have been coming to VAC meetings almost every alternate week. So looking forward to being in this meeting.
Very briefly, I came in a pack of 3. On the back, that's my mother, and that's my daughter. And she's not waking up. So I think there are no other points of order now. And then I would hand over to the Toastmaster of the day, our colleague Claire.
So good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters. Toastmasters and honoured guests. Today I am your Toastmaster of the day and I will be taking you through this meeting. Now, as Magdalena said, we do have some software called EasySpeak which we use to manage the meeting, which means you can go there and you can sign up for roles and tell us if you're coming. Now, not so many people did that this week, so we had to fill these roles at the last moment. We also don't really have a prepared speech speaker, so we're going to improvise a little bit. Now, just for the sake of the guests, let me explain how the meeting, the structure of the meeting, although we have old hands here, so I probably don't need to explain. But in this club, we start with prepared speeches. These are speeches that somebody wrote, practiced, learned, and they had time to do that. Then they come and they deliver their prepared speech. We follow that with something called topics and table topics, where speakers do not have time to prepare. They are asked a question and they immediately stand up and they have 2 minutes to deliver an unprepared speech, but they're still trying to have a beginning, a middle and an end. So that's actually more challenging than having the time to prepare. And then the last part of the meeting is the evaluation part, normally, where we get reports from the various people taking roles at the meeting, and I think the general evaluator will fill us in those in just a moment. So first of all, let me ask our general evaluator, who is a general evaluator? We don't have a general evaluator. In that case, I'm going to be completely spontaneous and ask Daniela, could you be our general evaluator?
Sure.
Wonderful. Okay, so do you know how to do that?
Not really.
Okay, I'm going to tell you what to do in that case. So the general evaluator evaluates the entire meeting. So you're going to, at the end, you're going to give us a complete overview of what you think about how the meeting was conducted. So, for example, the very first thing you would say is that the meeting started 10 minutes late. So, which is very significant because it's a lunchtime meeting, so the loss of 10 minutes is very disruptive. Yeah? But the reason for that is that it's improvised, which means that we lose time trying to fill the roles actually in the meeting. So normally at this stage what you would do is introduce your team, but I'll do that for you. Our grammarian today is Toastmaster Inez, so perhaps I could call on Toastmaster Inez to tell us something about what the grammarian does, and she's also going to provide us with a word of the day. This is your opportunity. It's a television programme in England called Opportunity Knocks. Yes. So every second Tuesday in this room, Opportunity Knocks for all of us. Inez.
Thank you very much, Toastmasters. The grammarian is reporting on the use of the language. The expressions are expressions well put in a speech, for example. The pronunciations, formulations, but also looking at grammar. I will not be very strict, but I will have my antennas out as much as possible. I have taken also or chosen a word of the day, opportunity. A word which is very emotionally laden. It's an emotional word. An opportunity. We have to take opportunities. That's something which we learn now, not in school, unfortunately. And I would like to say something on the word opportunity itself, which I found in our files. Opportunity comes from opportune, the word opportune, which means timely, well-timed, it's convenient. Probably there are many more these days. words are developing themselves. We are developing the word. They are living creatures. Opportunity is a living thing. And opportunity means favorable conjuncture, convenient time. So the issue of timing is the focus, the opportunity. Good luck. I'm going to see how we could really fit it in and integrate it in the work today. Thank you.
And every time somebody manages to use this word of the day, Inez notes that down. So I'd like to point out to Inez that I have actually already used it 3 times, and now I'm going to use it again. Because opportunity knocks today for Toastmaster Kolade, who is going to be our timer for the very first time. So this fits in very well, as Inez said, opportune is connected with timing, good timing. So Kolade is our timer. Now normally I would ask him to explain his role, but since he's doing it for the first time, I will explain it for you. So he has a green card, a yellow card, and a red card. So in the case of prepared speeches, you will see actually on the agenda on the right, it tells you the timing for a prepared speech. But since we don't have a formal prepared speech today, we will ignore that timing. We're going to do something a little bit different. First of all, we're going to watch a video, so there won't be any timing for that. And then we're going to ask Toastmaster Schubert to give us an impromptu speech of 3 minutes. So her speech will be 3 minutes.
3 to 5 minutes.
3 to 5 minutes. Okay, so let's give her 4. So we could say that the green card would go up at 3,
and then the amber at 4 and the red at 5.
Good. Okay, so the green card will go up at 3, the amber card will go up at 4, and the red card will go up at 5. When the red card goes up, the speaker needs to come to a close. But it's up to them whether they actually come to a close or not. Nobody is going to push them away from the podium. So it's up to them to come to a close. Of course, if they exceed their timing in a contest situation, then they would be disqualified. So part of the discipline of Toastmasters is keeping to the timing. For table topics, speakers have 2 minutes to speak. And so the green card goes up at 1 minute, the amber card goes up at 1.5 minutes, and the red card goes up at 2 minutes. Now, if a table topic speaker in a contest situation continues for more than 2.5 minutes, they're disqualified. So the aim is to come somewhere between 1.5 minutes and 2.5 minutes, somewhere around 2 minutes. And for evaluations, it would be 3 minutes. We would have 3 minutes each for an evaluation, which means that the green card will go up at 2 minutes, the amber card at 2.5 minutes, and the red card at 3 minutes. Thank you very much, Kolade. Thank you for taking that role. We don't have an R counter, so perhaps I could ask one of our guests. Jossie, you've done this before. Could you be our R counter? Would that be okay? Yes. Now, an R counter is the name of a role where you count hesitations. So if anybody hesitates, if they go, no, they stop in any way and they're not fluent as they're speaking, then you note that down. And there are many ways of hesitating. I once had a Japanese friend who, before she said anything, she cleared her throat. And that was a way of her buying time. Yeah? So we would also note that kind of thing down. Lovely. Ballot counter we also don't have. Just note down that hesitation there. Although I must say I do have a special dispensation from Toastmasters International for all my hesitations. I'm a special case. So we don't have a ballot counter. We should really have a ballot counter. So Monica, if you wouldn't mind counting the ballots, because we vote for the best table topic speaker. Good. So pressing on. What I want to do, as we don't have a formally prepared speaker, what I thought we would do is we would watch a video and we could all produce an evaluation on that video. So what I've done is I have produced some options for you. So these are the options. You can see the titles here, some of the titles. Number 4 is trust is a must. Number 3 is changed by attire. Number 2 is last year's world champion, Toastmasters world champion speaker. And I know some of you have already seen that. And this is about bullying, is number 1. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to take a quick vote to see which speech you would prefer to listen to. We only have time for one. Can we take a quick vote on which speech you would prefer? So can we have a vote? You may vote for more than one if you so wish. We'll just count up accordingly. So can I have some votes for number 1, please? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 4 votes for number 1. Okay, number 2. How many votes? 1, 2, 3, 3. And number 3. 1, 2, 3, okay. And number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Oh, we've got a bit of a draw here. Okay, so I haven't voted yet. So I better vote for one of the 3s. So, how many people have actually watched number 2? Okay, so perhaps we don't want to watch number 2 again. No? I'd like to watch number 3. Can we go for number 3?
No, they're all tied.
They're all tied, aren't they? Yeah. So that gets my vote. Okay, now we're a bit stuck, aren't we? Well, anyway, look, I'll just send you the list. I'll put it on Easy Speak, and then you can watch any of them you want. But for the moment, can we watch number 3?
Number 3.
I'd like to watch number 3 because it's not quite so polished. So there's some substance there to evaluate. Yeah? So if I could hand out these forms, you've got a little form to help you in your evaluation. So when we come to the evaluation section, then we are going to, as many of us as there is time for, we're going to do some evaluations. Okay? So let's go ahead and listen, and the evaluations will come later.
I'm at the altar, sweating in my wool suit. She is glowing in her white dress. Asks me the most important question of my life. Ryan, do you promise me? Before I make my commitment, I let my mind rewind like an old school VHS tape. And it takes me back to high school when I would plead with my mom to let me go to parties. Mom, please let me go. There'll be no alcohol, I promise. Mom in her nightgown and bunny slippers smiled sweetly. All right, I trust you. Mr. Contest Chair, fellow Toastmasters, anybody who's ever lied to Mama before. We're having fun in a field in small town Texas. My friend Taylor passes me another beer when bright lights freeze us in place. The man behind the light, big belly over a belt buckle, lip full of dip. Sheriff Snodgrass caught us red-handed, red Solo cups in hand. Boys, it's your lucky night. Either fill this bag to the top with cigarette butts, or we start calling mamas. We grabbed that bag, and there we were, 3 macho teenagers, Taylor, Eric, and, well, 2 macho teenagers and me. Crawling in a semi-sober state, collecting soggy cigarette butts all night. Next morning, we took that bag, we dropped it off at the station. There is some angry southern woman yelling in a nightgown and bunny slippers. Like a human bulldozer, Mom plows through the crowd. Stunned? What happened? Mom, if you ever worried about me smoking, don't. Guys and I had to pick up 5 pounds of cigarette butts. Why, Ryan? There was alcohol at the party, Mom. Son, I'm disappointed. Worse, I can't believe you. Trust is a must. Times have changed. When Dad and I were your age, we picked up 7 pounds. It took me a long time to earn Mom's trust back. And after a summer of her house arrest, it was my senior year and I became a wannabe entrepreneur. This man offered me buckets of money to build him a website. New car, here I come. I spent weeks hunched in a chair, glued to a screen, typing on a Cheeto-stained keyboard. I finished. We met, handed over the files. He checked for his checkbook, couldn't find it. Promised he would send a check over immediately. No problem. We shook hands. I'll get paid in a couple days. Well, a couple days passed, and where I'm from, handshakes mean something. I called him. His phone's disconnected. I Googled him. He gave me a fake name. What? I complained to Mom, and do you know what she said? Trust is a must, isn't it, son? Don't you hate when parents are right? Like one of those annoying hotel alarm clocks that woke me up. How was I supposed to expect a man to keep a handshake when I couldn't even keep a promise to Mom? I learned a promise is only as good as the person who makes it. I was finally able to leave small town Texas and I went to college in Colorado. And I met the girl. Tall, curly hair, a tattoo or two. She is beautiful, I'm just some punk with pimples. And after a few hours of laughing, she is bringing home to Mama material. A couple dates later, I was up front and honest. Chelsea, I'm not looking for a girlfriend, I'm looking for a wife. I'm leaving the country, won't be back for 7 months, and I want kids. Warning though, this, 12 pounds at birth. Sorry, Mom. I have no idea how I convinced that girl to be my girlfriend, but I did. And we started building our foundation of trust 3,000 miles apart. I wrote her a handwritten letter every day while I was gone. I doodled what our future kids would look like. Dreamed of still holding her hand at 90. Decided no bunny slippers. When I got back home, I met with Chelsea's parents, and I got that seal of approval. I told them, one day I'll have more business experience. I'll do my best raising a couple 12-pound babies. I will love that girl. Her curls turn gray. For the wedding, my mom reminded me that trust is a must if I want this marriage to last. I am at the altar, sweating in my wool suit, and Chelsea is glowing in her white dress. Chelsea, I promise.
We can imagine that. So that was speech number, well, 3 in our case, but that was our first speech for today's meeting. So please work on your evaluations. We don't devote any special time to that. Basically, the evaluator prepares their evaluation as the meeting proceeds. So we will come back to you after our next speech and table topics, and we will ask you to evaluate the speech. So now I'd like to turn to our second speaker, who is giving a bit of an impromptu speech today. And Toastmaster Schubert comes from Nepal, and as we know, events there have been very terrible. So today's speech by Schubert is going to be to announce a charity event which is going to take place on the 11th of June at 6 p.m. in the F building, and the proceeds are going to be donated to the earthquake victims. So I'd now like to call upon Schubert to give us her impromptu speech.
Distinguished guests, dear friends and colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good evening and namaste. On behalf of the Charity Committee, I have the honor to welcome you all today at this charity event. Despite of nice weather outside, you're all here to join us and support us. Thank you. The most devastating earthquake in Nepal on 25th April and many more aftershocks, big ones like 7.3, magnitude 4.5 and unlimited, still going on actually. Until yesterday, it has been told that they are still feeling the aftershocks. Destroyed and damaged thousands of homes, ancient monuments, including UNESCO heritage sites and temples. More than 10,000 people were killed, and some of them we still do not know where they are lying, because they are in the mountain areas. One cannot go there easily, there is no transport system, so we actually do not know how many more are already killed. The aftershock is still taking place, as I mentioned to you, and still people are sleeping outside in the field, in the streets, because they are simply too afraid to go home and sleep over the night. Because anytime it can happen. Normally people live in 2-3 stories of houses. They're sleeping outside, upstairs, and when they come down, it's too late. If something happens again. We are deeply saddened by this calamity. However, we must go ahead and try to help Nepal as much as we can. Nepal needs help in every way. Our goal today of our charity event is to help orphans, needy children in Nepal whose parents or father, the earning member, is killed during this earthquake. On behalf of Charity Committee, I take this opportunity to thank the sponsors, the artists, volunteers, and all of you that we would be here today at this event, and we try to do something for the needy children and the orphans of Nepal. I wish you all for joining us and supporting us, and we want to help the orphans as much as possible. And I would really take the opportunity to again request you to continue to help Nepal. You can go to anywhere in the links that you can find how to help, or you can also come and talk to us. We will be happy to help you, to guide you where to go and so on. But each of you will make a big difference concerning your generous support. And this is a very, very difficult moment for all Nepalese all over the world. And we have to do something, so we really will be very grateful for any help from you. In the meantime, I wish you an enjoyable evening. Have fun. We have some music here, we have some dances, international dances, and we have tombola to win a trip to Athens. And I wish you all a pleasant evening. Thank you and namaste.
Well done, Shubha, especially for preparing that as an impromptu speech. So what I would like to do is I'd like to evaluate you on your speech so that you get the point towards the completion of the Competent Communicator Award. So we can talk about which speech later, but I will basically give you an evaluation. Good. So that is the end of the first part of the meeting, which is prepared speeches, and now we move on to our impromptu speech part, which is called Table Topics. And our Table Topics master for today is Toastmaster Lily. Toastmaster Lily is a stalwart. I don't know if you're familiar with that word, but that's what Lily is. Welcome, stalwart. Hello, stalwart.
Hello, Toastmasters, honoured guests. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of us today. So how many questions can I ask? Can I ask 10 questions? Then I would ask everybody. No? We'll see.
But they will get a chance to evaluate.
Everybody will get a chance to evaluate. So the question is, who am I going to ask? I've got 1 visitor, 2 visitors. Are you prepared to speak on the table topics?
Well, I wouldn't be prepared because you
We're not prepared.
the topic, but I'm happy to speak on it.
Would you like to speak for the table topics? May I ask you a question for table topics? Yes? Okay. So I have a list here of a couple of people who've got roles. So normally when we've got 20 people at our meeting, we select the others who aren't doing any roles and aren't speaking at all. But today we've all got a chance to do something and perhaps even speak twice. So you might be surprised about who I ask what. Time is opportunity. Opportunity comes with time. As I was looking at today's meeting, I was thinking about the various activities that I was involved in. On the weekend I spent Saturday watching a video of a seminar all day of an organisation called Life Plus. And this organisation is working to help people all over the world, to motivate people, and it reminded me of what a Toastmasters International Convention must be like. And it reminded me of another meeting that I attended here in Vienna at the Austria Centre just a couple of weeks ago. And I thought, wow, I'm a member of these great organisations, these organisations that do things, but how do we organise our time and how do we manage to use and utilise the opportunities that we have? We need to manage time. So my question is, how do you decide what is important for you to do, or what you want to do, or what you actually do? Daniela, how do you decide what is important for you to do, or what you want to do, or what you actually do?
Thank you, Toastmaster. That's a very relevant question for me currently because I'm working on it. I think that discipline is part of it actually. In order to organize yourself and schedule your planning, you need to have a clear plan and also discipline in order to not only think about what you are going to do, but also implement what's going to happen during the day. So basically, I'll start my day waking up with my coffee and thinking about what I'm going to do today. This is what happened for this weekend, for example. Unfortunately, the weather conditions were not optimum, so it had a big impact and influence on my day. So I decided to listen myself and to take care of myself and just do what I wanted. So I watched a movie, I read some books, then I had some friends on the phone, then I went to visit my boyfriend because he was sick. So then basically that was it for that weekend. And finally, when the weather started being a little bit better, we decided that we would go out for a walk because it was really time. So all in all, I would just say it's important, definitely, especially during the weekend, to know what you're going to do, because I am very spontaneous and I am not a person who is going to plan. I like to act on my intuition and to call people intuitively and to decide what I'll be doing on the spot. But sometimes it's very critical because I end up doing nothing, you know. So it is important to plan and to schedule and try to organize yourself.
We're all here as members or guests of Toastmasters, so we've been inspired. Something brought us here. We have some motivation. We took the opportunity to come here today. We took the opportunity a while ago to find out about Toastmasters and to even join and become members. What did you expect from Toastmasters when you joined? What has changed and how? Collide. What did you expect from Toastmasters when you joined? What has changed and how?
Hello, Toastmasters. When I joined Toastmasters, actually, Claire invited me to join Toastmasters about a year ago. Naturally, I'm a shy person. I'm a bit introvert and I'm always scared to speak in public. And she told me there's a club called Toastmasters which could improve me in speaking in public. I've tried to attend a couple of meetings, but because of my workload, it's quite difficult for me to come in during lunch. And she actually encouraged me to enroll for the speech club for for this speechcraft course, which took place in February. But I did, but I couldn't make it to give my icebreaker because I was a bit shy and scared of facing the crowd. And apparently, since then, I've been given an excuse that my workload is really demanding, that I don't have time. But I just thought to myself that within the past few weeks, that there's nothing too much that I can do as long as I put my mind to it, that I could achieve whatever I want to achieve. So I think the last two meetings, I made it a point of duty to myself that I should try to come for the meeting. And right now, I'm trying to use the opportunity of coming to meetings to try to be able to face my fears and give my icebreaker very soon. Thank you very much.
We see a lot of room for improvement, a lot of opportunities for change, for growth, and we have lots of ideas, but how do we implement them? How do we make things better? How do you think we could improve our Toastmasters experience? Ines, how do you think we could improve our Toastmasters experience?
Madam Table Topics Master, our guest, fellow Toastmasters, I think the change starts with ourselves. As a member of Toastmasters, I see that if each of us give our best, use the opportunity to bring changes, even if they are very small, probably we are able, as a group, to bring in dynamism and give also the opportunity to others to think about how they could change the way they are doing things. Okay, the things in life, what are they? Communication, speaking, reacting, being honest to each other, but most of all, to also enjoy what you're doing. With communication, it's not just we have to, it is a must, and I have to do it again. Yes, do it because you enjoy it. I know it for myself. When I enjoy it, I can give my best. I can use the opportunity also to give the energy to other people, to other fellow Toastmasters, to colleagues. And you would not believe it, I'm getting every day further with such an attitude, because I think that's the only thing which keeps me going. Joy. Thank
you. So a lot of us come here to Toastmasters because we get uplifted. We hear so many inspiring stories from other people across the Vienna-based organisations, even sometimes from the foreign missions or from other people who have access to the VIC. Where do you get your positive energy when you need to refill? Krista, where do you get your positive energy when you need to refill?
Madam Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests. When I am low on positive energy, I do one of the most obvious things that I know how to do, and that is go be by myself. I get as far away from people as possible. I've been through many years of life, and if I've learned one thing, it's that when I don't have positive energy, I have no business sharing that with other people. And so I move away. I move away as quickly as I can. And sometimes that's physical motion, moving away. Other times it's mental motion. Just move away in my mind from everyone else, and I find my own positivity. through this, I have found that I can come to places like Table Topics and do a speech impromptu, even though it's been 3 years and 22 years since I've had this wonderful opportunity. And I can bring back more positivity. Meetings like this are what pulls that positivity back towards me. We all do a bit of reaching out to others, and this is a perfect opportunity for that. Madam Table Topics Master.
And finally, one more question. Who do you turn to, or where do you go, or what do you do to get support in times of need? And I'd like to ask Josie, who do you turn to, or where do you go, or what do you do to get support in times of need?
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, at the time of need, my first port of call is my wife. After that, I think about who else in my life and who are nearby, who have experience.
We have a Toastmaster from India that is accompanying us here while he's in his 6 weeks period at UNIDO, and he's coming from a club that has a very special milestone this week.
Next.
Toastmaster Suresh, please tell us.
So good afternoon, Toastmaster. As you are all aware, I am part of the CAC Chennai Toastmaster Club in India. Our club is celebrating the 450th milestone meeting next week. Our club operates on a weekly basis, so we have completed 450 weeks and we never missed a single meeting. And we had produced more than 4 DTMs from our club. And also, ours is the first corporate club out of the district. So I'm proud to be part of the club. And at this moment, I would like to thank all my past and present club members who made this a great success. There are many things that we learn from Toastmaster. It's not just about communication. It's a lot of things about leadership, and we build a network. There are many things that we learn. There is one thing that I have seen firsthand this time in my last 5 years life in Toastmaster is Toastmaster is one single big family. It doesn't matter where you are from, doesn't matter the culture, doesn't matter anything about the background. So the moment I came here in Vienna, first thing I looked out for is the Toastmaster Club. I was so happy that there is one available in the UN office itself. So from the time I came in, every single meeting that I here I am able to attend. I am so happy about it. So I would like to take this moment and request the chairperson of the VIC meeting today to give a few words about our club's 450th.
Of course. We are very, very grateful, and let's say, reason is because we have an excellent representative of the CSC Chennai Toastmasters Club. He's been with us for already 3-4 meetings, and he's been a great addition to our club. We will be sad seeing you leave, but we know that you're going to a club that is very productive and very fruitful. So we want to congratulate the CSC Chennai Toastmasters Club again for meeting their 450th milestone. This means more or less, I think, 2.5 years of meetings.
More than that.
8.
More than that?
8 years.
Ah, sorry, I made it wrong. This is what they call
9
baby
years.
brain, sorry, 9 years already. So we are an older club, but also have a lot to learn, and we were very happy to have you here. We learned a lot, so we hope and wish you a long life to this club. If you also are coming to UNIDO, you are also happy. We are happy to have you as guests and regular guest members as Suresh. So please help me or join me in giving an applause to the CSC Chennai Toastmasters for their Thank you, Suresh, and I hope you are here for at least one more meeting.
One more meeting, yes.
Oh, yes, great.
Thank you.
To conclude, there was something,